Welcome to the JAMODI podcast. We are all surrounded by amazing coaches and leaders. So let's get an inside look at not just what they do, but how they do what they do. After all, becoming the best versions of ourselves is JAMODI, just a matter of doing it.
The JAMODI podcast is powered by Sideline Interactive. Sideline Interactive is the leading manufacturer for high-quality, innovative scoring tables and LED video display boards that help coaches and schools bring more excitement to fans, create huge fundraising opportunities, and make their jobs easier. Visit sidelineinteractive.com to check out their amazing products.
Yeah. Coach, over the years, I worked MG basketball camps with a guy named Matt Garnett. Do you know him?
Oh, yeah. We all know Matt.
Okay. Yeah.
He
So,
worked girls TABC.
Yeah. So Matt Garnett and he's been doing MG. I always joke and say he's the MG of MG basketball camps. And so I've been partnered with him now probably for 12, 15 years in these camps. And we've kind of gone to, we obviously do some skill work, but then we also do some classroom work where we talk about different things. He does a lot with ball screens and a lot with skill. And then I kind of bring in, and I'm going to use the word, but the culture word, and it's more really standards, but it's all about, you and I were talking before we got on here about that word. And I feel the same way. I view culture as more of the standards and pillars that we live by, but it is important. But I've used JAMODI as a roadmap for these players because early on, just a matter of doing it to me made a lot of sense. Like it's a Saturday morning. I don't want to work out, but it's just a matter of doing it. And I love that part of it. And then as I got older, I kept using it. And then I'm starting to work with these kids, and we frame JAMODI as what it stands for. But then also sometimes it's not as easy as that, because if it was just a matter of doing it, I would have been in the NBA. Right. But sometimes there's some
That's good.
factors there that are difficult or some things that are outside of your control. What do you do with those things? And so I broke JAMODI up, and I hope he doesn't mind. It's still just a matter of doing it, but I took every letter. And so when I go through with my athletes, we talk about J is joy. Joy is better than happiness. It's longer lasting. It gives you staying power. And then we say the A is attitude. Attitude is what you choose to bring to something. Nobody can give you a bad attitude. And then M is motivation. Every challenge that you come at, it'll show you how badly you want something. O is opportunity. It's kind of like what Giannis said, there's no failures in sports. They're all steps to success. And then D is determination. And then I is impact. And impact, we are actually here for others. How can we wake up every day and make somebody else's life better? And I thought that's like thanks, coach.
Awesome.
That's like a good way to, it is just a matter of doing it. Now, how can we actually approach each day as a player and as a person? And I feel like it's been really fun to take players through that over the years.
That's beautiful. I had not heard that. And that's kind of circles back to my disdain for the word culture. The reason is because people don't even think about it. What do you mean? And I've been an athletic director in Boerne, been fortunate to be the athletic director in Boerne since 1999. So I have interviewed a lot of people, and we've had several football, hires, and just been very fortunate in who we have hired and been able to hire. And I just laugh every time we're going to change the culture. And then word has now traveled. Don't say that C word to Leech, and especially in Boerne. I go, if you're just going to use the C word and think that's going to get you past, what do you mean by culture? Well, just we're going to change the culture. Well, how are you going to change it? I mean, tell me what culture. And
Show
so
me
I
what
said,
you've done before.
and I always,
Right.
I always say, here are some better words. You're going to change the environment. You're going to change the atmosphere. You're going to change the mindset. You're going to change the work ethic. You're going to change the values. You're going to change the team dynamic, and you're going to change the team identity. And of course, I can talk about this stuff all day long. And of course, we're in our 40th year at Boerne and 44th year overall. And I just tell them, I said, expectations, attitudes, habits, communication style, accountability style, values, our core beliefs, team dynamics, and then what's our vision and our purpose. And I challenge all of our coaches as, first of all, we're not going to be lazy. We're not going to just use the C word, and act like that's going to cover everything. Because just like you, I mean, you gave me a sermon, you gave me an article about you had this word, and we know what it stands for from the beginning, but then you identified and gave it life to what it really means. Joy. What is joy? And then, and that's the same thing we are with culture. It's funny, when I changed the culture in Boerne in 1990. Well, I really didn't. I tell you who changed the culture: David Shivers, Robbie Shivers, because they were players. So what was funny, when you have great players, there's something I've never heard anybody claim we changed the culture that was 2-8. But you could change the culture and be 2-8. It's always,
Good.
we're
Yeah.
going to come in here and change the culture. Well, we're only as good as our best player, Matt. And that's becoming more true with football because it's so quarterback led. In basketball, it's always been, I mean, I wouldn't be here today talking to you if it wasn't for David Shivers and Robbie Shivers and Eric Haugenself. And it's funny, years that we, were got bumped in the playoffs, and I never claimed that we had a good culture, but boy, when we were rolling, winning 30 plus games, what is it? Well, it's the culture. So I told them, I said, we're going to outlaw that C word, and we're going to go, what did we do? Well, they came in the summer. We
Yeah.
had a full gym. We we were in the weight room. We came and shot, or what did you really do? We encouraged each other. We weren't sarcastic. And so what did you do? And tell us what you did. And there, you can use any word besides the dreaded, horrible C word. There you go. There's your sermon, Matt.
I'm right with you. That even that question that, when people are coming on here and I send this list of questions that kind of give me a roadmap, and some coaches like to have a little bit of a plan where they know what's coming instead of coming into something that, what are we going to talk about? What's going to happen here? So I think there's two reasons for those questions, but I really don't like having the how does culture drive performance question because of that word. And I think if let's just say at different paths and I was to interview with you, I think I would be okay if I came in and said, listen, we are going to have a great culture, but I don't really like talking about that. I think it's more about how we're going to show up every day. And here's how we're going to show up every day. I think you would have really appreciated that. And
Oh,
I
yeah.
would have been, in some way, I would have gotten the job, not even knowing that. But you're right. Every college coach, when they're at the podium, they say the same things. We're going to have a great culture and we're going to play fast. Like those two things. And it is one of those where and so right now I'm just starting out at Midway High School in Waco. It's my first in 12 years, and in faith, we had really good standards. And the guys showed up and every day a certain way that I think made it a fun environment where they worked really hard. That didn't happen in a second. Like that didn't happen in one workout or 1 week. And we really stacked good days, good weeks, good months, good years on top of each other. But it's unique now going into another place. I have to do my best not to compare or not to have expectations of what these guys should be like when it's brand new, and give them time, give myself time. But coach, that's harder. That's easier said than done.
Amen. Well, winning is the great deodorant. And a lot of times, because we're using deodorant, the environment the stink's covered up. And then sometimes when you're not winning, you don't have deodorant. And, a lot of times people look at things and make up things that are really there. With all the years I look back on it, our best team environment, our best team mindsets, we're not always the most winning team. Most winning teams, a lot of times, simply because it just had most talent. Now, the best successful teams had the best talent and then had people that were unselfish. Now, the culture guys would go, well, it's because we had a culture. Well, no, it's because you had a dude. And then you had unselfish people that were willing to fill a role so the team could be well. But get that C word out of your head. What do you mean? Well, because in basketball, especially when there's only 5 players, you could have the best environment, best mindset, best work ethic. But if you don't have, especially in 5A and 6A, if you don't have players, there's a ceiling. There just is. Now, yeah, you can upset somebody and you can go on a little roll, but in Texas, with so many rounds, eventually the most talented teams are going to win. And especially now with 2 state championships in each classification, I absolutely love that because I believe it was 4A where two of the best teams have crowns instead of one of them having crown, one not. And the state is so huge and large. I'm glad that we are honoring 12. You know, football's had 12 state champions for 38 years. And so finally, all of the sports are getting 12 state championships. And I just think it's a beautiful, beautiful thing that we're doing.
Thank you for checking out today's episode. Please take a moment to subscribe to this podcast, share it with your fellow coaches, and find us on social media for what's coming up next on the JAMODI podcast. It's just a matter of doing it.